I find it incredibly rewarding to grow my own food. Alder Creek Farm is part of the Lower Nehalem Community Trust. We're very fortunate to have the space to blend the natural world with the human world and how we interact. Rather than just a land trust that's your traditional conservation area for wildlife and plants, we also wanted to try to draw in that element of community. We have 34 active gardeners. They grow together, they share their crops, but more importantly, we also share with the community.
Our relationship with the Lower Nehalem Community Trust has been going on for, I think, over 10 years. And they produce thousands of pounds of vegetables. They're the source of something that we probably couldn't offer without their help.
Each year in the autumn, we celebrate this space, this Alder Creek Farm. It is such a treasure to our community, and we want to invite people in to recognize how we are all connected and how we contribute together to make this a great place to live.
My name is Xin Liu, and everybody calls me Liu. Oyster farming, just like any type of farm, only difference is we're farming in the water. The Yaquina Bay is about 10 miles from the oyster farm to the ocean, and it's a very dynamic estuary, very rich in nutrients. That's make our oysters very productive.
Having a commercial operation in an estuary turns it into truly a working landscape in the estuary.
Wetlands are these unique, funny places, but they're providing a lot of benefits to us. They clean water, they store water, they're sponges, they're amazing habitat.
Around the 1900s, there are a lot of people starting to harvest the Olympia oysters, also we call them native oysters. And didn't take them too long to wipe the majority of the population.
This area used to be called the Oysterville. Our best oyster bed just basically is around this area.
As it turns out that there's a lot of the native oysters, which there aren't very many left anymore, that Lou is finding there. So now we have this partnership between Oregon Oyster Farms, the Confederated Tribe of Siletz Indians, and the Wetland Conservancy to bring back the native oyster.
Oysters, they improve the water quality, improve the ecosystem for other species to survive.
The way that he manages creates the habitat, the substrate, for native oysters to settle out on.
And so far we have seen some of the population improvement. The numbers increase a lot.
These are all native oysters.
From day one of meeting Lou, we just really care about the Yaquina estuary.
You know, without the local community support, we cannot be there today.
I'm fortunate enough to have these experiences where you actually fall in love with these places and you become an advocate for them.
Communities are part of a landscape. And by each of us telling each other's story is that we're growing the number of people that both care about conservation and that connection of food to place and to community.
To maintain a very healthy, dynamic wetland is our responsibility.
The Backyard Habitat Certification Program is a program put on by the Audubon Society and the Wallowa Land Trust. And it's basically a program that encourages folks to plant native plants in their backyards to create habitats for pollinators, birds, insects, animals.
You walk around anywhere on the east side of Portland and it smells like flowers and there's trees everywhere. It's kind of a trademark of our city.
I think that's just like a big part of the culture of living here is we are so close to nature that I think people don't take that for granted. Melissa and I have always loved working in the yard and being outside.
See Daddy.
Now that we have a little boy, it's been awesome to bring him out here with us. We're hoping that, you know, he has the green thumb, has inherited that.
So the Backyard Habitat Certification Program seemed like a great fit because I love the idea that he'll be able to point things out and he'll kind of grow up understanding the landscape. I think when you're surrounded by nature, you have this respect for it, and you know that you kind of have to take care of it.
One of the things that Greenbelt has is a very strong connection to trying to bring people out onto those lands. And one way we do this is by having a lot of events on the lands. We have a Symphony for the Land event, we have Run for the Hills, runners out here. We have arts events, landscape painting class out here. Just a lot of ways that we understand how we can bring people from our community out onto the land.
Painting captures the spirit. The opportunity to paint a conservation area is rare. It's another way to record it, another way to be an art historian.
I suppose if there wasn't accessibility to the nature like this, then it would be kind of hard to be a landscape painter. I think we're really lucky living here in the Willamette Valley, having so much open space.
When you think about what land trusts do, and you think about the idea of in perpetuity stewardship responsibility for a lot of the values that we cherish so much in our communities, it means that we have to have conversations with all different perspectives in our community.
We're coming together tonight in a small group to talk about the land and its values and our obligations in relation to both.
Having discourse and conversation between local community members and organizations such as Greenbelt Land Trust is really important and in fact critical because it allows for a multiplicity of voices to come into the discourse.
The great conservationist Aldo Leopold said, "Something as important as a land ethic is never just written. It evolves in the mind of a thinking community."
Wallowa Land Trust is a nonprofit land conservation organization that works with landowners to find creative ways to protect all the incredible things that make this the beautiful place that we want to live.
See that? It's like right there. You can see this lighter gravel. She's done all this. Her tail is white because she has worked the gravel so much in preparation to lay her eggs. To me, it's a remarkable journey and story that these fish are able to undertake. We're well over 600 miles from the ocean, and these fish had to cross 8 dams to get here, and so they've overcome a lot just to get back here and lay their eggs for the next generation. It's cool.
The Nez Perces lived here from time immemorial. You know, we thrived on salmon. It was our top resource, food resource. The fact that the connection that we've always had with these are more than just harvest, it's a spiritual connection.
Very exciting opportunity for us to partner not just with a local landowner but also with the Nez Perce tribe to continue to expand that protected area upstream to where the Nez Perce tribe operates the fish weir.
Started off with just one fish here, one fish there. We're taking the fish in here, we're handling them to determine sex, determine length, so it gives us what happened to their life out in the ocean. Then we also gave them a punch on the purple to be able to track them for spawning and gives us a genetic sample as well. I grew up in this county, so it's been 40 years or so since they've had coho back here. So you're looking at, you're getting 50, 60 years out there by the time you really actually had a population back here. So it's a huge deal.
We're accomplishing our mission here, trying to restore all of these fish that once were in our homeland. think that's what land trusts are about, is to try to work ways to preserve those open spaces and the habitat for both human and the creature's life.
It's thrilling because they haven't been in the river system for 40 years. It's a sign that it is possible to bring back species, and it is possible for us to work hard enough to have something like the reintroduction of the coho be successful. We are really lucky to be a part of a community of land trusts throughout the state that are doing some incredible work in their communities. And for me to be a part of that larger collaboration of like-minded organizations working to protect the most special places in their community is probably some of the best part of the work that I do.